Welcome back to another episode of the Jackrabbit Illustrated Podcast. We're excited to have you join us today. Before we dive in, we'd like to thank our sponsors who help make this all possible. First off, a great big thank you to our title sponsor again for 2024, the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. Whether it's tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, construction, or farm equipment, Kubota's got you covered. With 9 convenient locations across the state of South Dakota and 1 in northwest Iowa, there's always a Kubota dealer nearby. Stop by your local Kubota dealer and see all they have to offer. All A-Team shows are sponsored this year by Culver's of Brookings and Watertown, home of the Butterburger, fried cheese curds, signature root beer, and world-famous custard. Culver's, welcome to delicious. Next, we would like to recognize the support of our other A-Team podcast sponsors. Cubby Sports Bar and Grill, the best sports bar in South Dakota and home to the Jimmy Rogers Radio Show. Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management, see them for all your retirement and life insurance needs. And the Jackrabbit Former Players Association. And now, here is the A-Team.
And we are back on another Victory Sunday. Man, we've just been rattling those off lately. So here we go. The Jackrabbits pick up a huge win against Montana, set to face the University of Incarnate Word again next Saturday at 11 a.m. bright and early. And it's me and Chad. Dallas is going to be here in a second. And SDSU's favorite podcaster, the Rev, Dustin Helton. Rev, how the heck you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great, guys. Good to be back. I don't think I've been on A-Team. I've been on B-Team. I don't think
You've been on the A-Team with us.
Sure?
I'm
I
pretty
had to
sure.
call you SDSU's favorite podcast.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I didn't mean. I mean, like in a regular season, not a
right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I forgot. I was on. How can I forget? I was on with Stig. Yeah. And no, it's great to always come on, man. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. And the Rev is here to talk about Incarnate Word and the Southland and what's maybe changed since we first saw them second week of the season, which is crazy that it's been that long ago already. So before we dive in, got to thank Kubota Dealers of South Dakota, 10 locations between South Dakota and 1 right across the border in Iowa. We had some cold weather, last week. And so I wanted to test out my tractor. And Chad, just what we had talked about, with some starting stuff, the block heater, we put it up to our friend John Colley and said, John, can we get a block heater? What do we need to do? And he said, you know what, guys, you don't need a block heater. All you got to do is warm up those glow plugs for about 30 seconds. That thing should turn right over. And you know what? He was right. And so I cannot wait to use my Kubota this winter. It's going to start so much easier. And that's the thing. These folks at Kubota and these Kubota dealers of South Dakota are here to help you out with whatever you need. So thank you, John. Thank you, your crew from across the state. Really appreciate your continued support. Next up.
I was just going to say, just make sure if you store it in non-conditioned space that you treat your diesel fuel so it doesn't.
Okay, that's treated. I know that one, Chad. I know that one.
All
All right. All right. Next up is Culver's of Brookings and Watertown. Rev, what's your Culver's order when you get to one?
I've only been to Culver's once in my life.
Okay, so what is it? What's your order?
I got a burger and I got some cheese curds, and it wasn't as I didn't get a chance to go to the one in Brookings when we were there. I wanted to. Yeah, I went to one in Frisco.
Oh.
And it's all right. I mean, I'm sure the one. Let me phrase this. Let me phrase this. It's like Whataburger outside of Texas. Okay, Whataburger outside of Texas is not as good as it is in Texas. I bet Culver's is better up there versus being down in Frisco. That's what it is. You want the freshness of home. So I bet Brookings is A+, and I can't wait to go there whenever I'm there.
I had Whataburger once in San Antonio, and
I was not impressed.
And then go have it out of state, and you'll see it's worse.
Oh,
I had it in Fort Worth, and
I'm just gonna stick with Culver's.
Culver's was great. I really did like Culver's. I really like cheese curds. I'm a big cheese curd fan. So
all right,
involving cheese curds, I will be all over.
All right,
you just got to get him into a curder burger, but you got to hit that at the right time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. So I plan to stop at Culver's after the game this Saturday on our way out of town. So that's going to be kind of a late lunch, early supper for me and Miles and my brother-in-law as we leave Brookings. So, yeah. All right. Let's talk about Montana. Huh?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, what is there to say? Not a fan of Bobby Houck. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, dude had to have money on the game. That's the only thing that makes sense, right, Rev?
Yeah, like I don't get this. You have a guy in Logan Fife who's 7-1 touchdown to pick, ratio this year. He's played really well, and comes from Fresno State, and now he's leaving because you're letting some guy start based because upon the fact that he's a legacy. Like, what a waste! What a waste! You wasted a perfect opportunity to have a great quarterback that would take you far. And so, yeah, like, honestly, I don't feel bad for Montana or their fans because, like, this is what you get with Bobby Houck as a coach. So,
yeah. I think did Bad Beats? Did anyone see? Were we on that today? Because we had to have been.
Didn't watch. Didn't see.
Okay. There's like no way.
Yeah, run the cover play. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought the whole game, and I wrote this in Rants and Raves. It felt like we were playing with our food a little bit. It felt like times we got maybe too cute. It felt like sometimes we maybe got too predictable. It just felt like there was always something like, we could have anything we wanted, but at the same time, Montana's a good team too. And I suppose that's probably part of the reason why. I don't know. Just offensively, it felt like we could do anything. It was a lot of times us getting our own way. But again, they're a good defense. They have talented players on that side of the ball. Griffin, Willie, and Mark sure are connecting right now, and that's a lot of fun to see.
It is, and I think we had our seconds in there for quite a while, and that's when they scored them points. So. But I don't know.
See, that's not.
They had apparently they had a bunch of their seconds in at the end too, outside of IOT. So I was told by Grizz fans. Because hard to tell because I wouldn't know anyone but Ayat and the running backs.
The long touchdown, that was Dallas guarding that receiver one-on-one. That was just a hell of a pitch and catch. Like that's a beautiful throwing ball and a great catch by him. Great concentration as he caught it over his shoulder, and that was with Dallas right in stride with him. So, you got to tip your cap on that one. Can't necessarily say that was second and third strings. So
sure,
but. You bring up the backs, Chad. Eli Gilman, and I shouldn't make fun of Eli Gilman because he's a Minnesota kid right across the border. But, man, like his press conference this week talking about Frisco, and the only thing he thinks about in Frisco is how they shot themselves in the foot repeatedly. Man, alive. 1.2 yards per carry, Eli? Come on. If you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So, Rev, you look like you want to say something.
Oh no, I just laugh because I think back to the Montana press conference last year after national championship game, and like Clifton Bell said, if I hadn't gotten injured, we would have won the national championship. Like, it's this hubris that you see from some of these guys just makes things like this all that more delicious to see happen. So, I'm like, keep it up, keep talking because you're not backing it up, and we're just all enjoying it.
Yeah.
When it comes to Clifton McDowell, I think all that got injured was his pride, but that's just my personal opinion.
Dallas, how the heck are you, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy to be here. Had a very busy day. We actually went up to my second Vikings game since I've been at US Bank Stadium and picked a good one. That was fun.
Yeah.
So got to see that. Two youngest kids were with for their first Vikings game. So we've talked about this. Not a big time NFL guy, but football's football and teams winning, so it's cool. So yeah, very good time. And then got back, and my daughter had a game that was scheduled really late, kind of last minute. So got a hockey game in.
Jeepers, what a day for you!
Yeah,
I was going to ask if this was Victory Purple Day for you.
So it is. So again, this is how much of a poser I am, like lifelong Minnesotan, and I don't own a single Vikings thing. So I have a Decepticon shirt, and that's the he's purple. So I am currently wearing a Decepticon shirt to the Vikings game.
I gotta say, if you're at the game, do you really need to wear Vikings stuff to show that you're a fan?
I don't think so. Honestly, I like seeing, this is going to totally dovetail here, but I love seeing there's like the kind of old jerseys from players that have been gone for a couple years. And then there's the stuff that players that were gone 10 years ago. And then there's like the dude like in the Leroy Horde jersey or something. Yeah, like Klein Saucer jersey. Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool. I can completely respect a Klein Saucer jersey.
It is. And I will say today they had asked everybody that had Randy Moss jerseys to wear them, and a lot of people wore those. That was cool to see. Definitely think about him and whatever he's got going on right now. So that was cool. But yeah, otherwise, like I said, fun day. Happy to be here on a Victory Sunday. Yeah. And Rev, always happy to see you, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you. And yeah, I'll get you some SFA gear so you have a little more purple.
I would totally wear that. That'd be so fun. There was a guy wearing a Dartmouth, like a guy that clearly actually played football for Dartmouth that had like team gear on today that was at the game, and he was like kind of a little ways away. I honestly was going to flag him down, like, oh, what's your name? You play blah blah blah, but ask him some stuff about it. But anyway. But yes, I would wear SFA gear to a Vikings game, 100%.
Todd Stussy, 76.
That's legit.
So, Brooks, yeah. So
you are a fan if you have an O lineman or a lineman's jersey, I guess.
If you have a Todd Stussy jersey, you just walk around grabbing other people's shirts and just holding on to them, because that's my memory of Todd Stussy. It's just penalty after penalty after penalty.
Oh gosh, yeah, awesome. We're just general thoughts of the game. I briefly just talked about offense, playing with our food a little bit.
Yep.
Defensively, stopping Gilman, and that's where we were. You heard that.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, man. We've talked about it, but just a team that appears to be peaking at the right time. And I'm usually a little reserved this time of year, but I tell you what, guys, I'm feeling really good about where this team's at right now. All the things that were question marks have been answered, and the most stereotypical thing in the world is for a team in the playoffs. What do you got to do? Run the ball, stop the run, play great defense. Well, run the hell out of the ball. No one can run for anything, and phenomenal elite defense, and the coaching staff is making great decisions. And I also tweeted out that we've won the middle 6 to 8 minutes of the game repeatedly. Over and over again. Like I love where this team's at.
Yeah. Even though we didn't score on like the second half of that middle 8, we still milked the clock. We drove the field, just had to end up having to punt, but it was a good middle 8, like Jimmy likes to say. So yeah.
I'd like to ask John Cole, Mayor of Vermilion, thanks for tuning in, by the way, how he feels about his hand in having the scared money don't make money, like losing bet be that you have to run for mayor of your town. Like,
that's gonna be
you
great.
caused that by showing up, dude. So thank you for that. We can't thank you enough for it.
Oh man, I can see Alex and Ben on a ballot. I just can't imagine Brendan running for political office like that. That one to me, I just can't see.
No, if Alex has to, I'm going to come up and be his campaign manager.
That's great. Let's get Alex elected.
Brendan is what you call the change candidate. He's gonna. There's a lot of people I think that would vote for him.
I mean, he is a former vacuum salesman, so he can sell somebody with white gloves on a ketchup popsicle, no problems there. I'm pretty sure if he really wanted to be mayor, he probably could, especially in Baltic or Renner, whatever.
Renner.
Renner have a, he's kind of in between too, but
yeah. Okay. So Dallas, good news. You're not going to have anyone fired because we did not kick to Junior Bergen.
I had that thought. Thank you.
Yeah. How did you like our approach with what we did?
Loved it. He only touched the ball once, I think.
And that was they switched up what they did. So
yep. No, I love it. I handled very well from the from the coaching staff and planning to the execution. I mean, that's how you got to do it. And like I said, clearly I say all that tongue in cheek. It's not like I don't believe in our guys on our on our special teams. But again, clearly that is an NFL player. Don't fricking kick to him, and we didn't. So good job. Yeah, just no reason to do it.
And the other guy was taking it back in from dang near in the end zone every time. I'm like, just take a knee, bud. You haven't really had success.
But we played that perfect because that first kick was short and he had to run up and get it. And that caused him to panic.
Yep.
And I think after that, we kicked everything right about at that 2-yard line. And so he was just like, oh, shit, I got to catch this one. And
got in his head. Yep.
Yeah. So I saw Bergen keep talking to him and try to get him to like figure it out. But guy was struggling. Oofta. And then Bergen got hurt. That was too bad. That kind of stunk.
Yeah, don't want that.
Nope. So I'm looking up. We had a question about how many South Dakotans on the
that was
roster.
from Honey Badger right here.
And that
That was one that I'd put up for him. It's a fair number. It's not insignificant.
Yeah.
It's a percentage higher than single digits, I think, or maybe right at 10%, perhaps, or just under. It's quite a few.
I'm counting, so you got to talk.
Well.
I don't get this flex by Montanans, and maybe it's just because I'm from Texas, but like, it's great that you guys do get homegrown talent, but you want the players who are going to give you the best team also, right? So to me, I'm just like, that's great. You have a lot of players from your home state, but do you have the best you could really have? Did you recruit the best?
I have 24 people from South Dakota on the roster.
Yep.
So
it's a little, Rev, the thing that's different is everybody's got their eyes on the state of Texas, and it's a different, it's on that. I would say stereotypically it's a different position and skill set that's coming out of Texas and out of the South. And here, and we've talked about this, I think one of the reasons why a lot of the schools around here as successful as they are is you're plucking these 9-man, quarterback, middle linebacker combos that wind up playing, pick your position. And, those are the guys that again, where it's, to me, you have to find them and you got to lock them down. Because, some of them aren't even going to play college football because they don't even know they can.
Yeah.
So
it's just, recruiting's weird up here.
And to be fair, you guys do, grow big linemen up there more so than we do in Texas. I mean, all of you are, half a foot taller than you should be, than the average human is. So,
yeah. It's funny. There was someone in line in front of me to go into the gate yesterday. And they turn around and go, "Hey, it's the Podfather." And I'm like, "Hi," just said hi. And then the wife goes, "You're taller in person than I thought you'd be." So, and I said, and I'm sorry if you're listening. I'm not making fun of you. It's just funny because we joke about it in our group because our podcast friends from across the country are a little bit shorter in stature. So.
Chris
It's
Hammond.
just kind of funny. Yeah. I didn't talk about little.
The entire JI group, we average 6'3.5", 6'4",
somewhere in there. Yeah.
That's probably the average. I'm on the low end at 6'1". Matt and I are about the same height, and I look probably shorter because I'm not as thin as Matt.
I have never been called thin, so that left me speechless there for a second.
I'm sorry. I mean,
love it.
If you and I both turn sideways, I'm pretty sure I'm about as wide as I am either way. So.
Stackable washer dryer combo, Chad.
Yeah. All right. Hey, so let's talk about Adam Bach here. Adam Bach was outstanding yesterday.
He was
that interception return and how he was stumbling, and they had the strength and balance to get himself back upright and run it in for the touchdown. That was cool. Tucker Large's interception. Oh. Man.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Did anybody have him tabbed as the player of the game?
I had Adam Bach. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Yeah. But Dallas had Francel, Chad, you had Kobe, and Dan Furman's special guest picker had Durant's, and he's the one that caused the interception to Bach. So, correct. Yeah. Yep, so good job. We all did great.
Yeah, as we're currently talking here, I'm going to go a different direction once we get to it here. And I haven't read Rants and Raves because I've been moving the entire day.
Yeah.
So I don't know who you picked, but I'm guessing I'm going to go in a different direction than you did.
Okay. Well, we'll hear it then.
All
right. The other thing, 6 of 5 Hogs. I can't believe we've made it 20 minutes into the show and haven't talked about them yet. Really a dominant effort. That was incredible work. Mark didn't get touched for much of the game. When he did get touched, it was because he was extending plays. Just really good work. He had the one that knocked him out of field goal range, that just a missed assignment of some sort. But man, he looked good. And then some of the lanes that Angel and Amar had for them, I could have got 3 yards on it. So I feel confident in that. So
You are looking thin.
Yeah.
He's a bit, Matt's a bit wasty compared to me, I'd say.
Wasty.
Wastier, yeah. Jeepers. All right. What else?
I mean, both sides. So true to form this year, most of the game I ended up listening to because I was driving, and you could tell from the broadcast how well we were dominating both sides of the ball in the line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way that it should be. And then that again gives you a ton of confidence going into the next round of the playoffs here. But you could just tell, and yeah, like you mentioned, 6 of 5 Hogs. Going back and doing a little rewatch last night and watching in the second half, just absolutely dominated. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm not even sure if there's anybody to me that I saw that jumped out more than anybody else. But just having that kind of dependability, on the line was great. And the on the defensive side of the ball, just the disruption and the depth, that we were getting and closing up lanes and just preventing anybody from doing what they wanted in Montana on the offensive side of the ball was great.
Yeah. So this is a good question here from Honey Badger. Is Gronowski's season better this year or last year with the Yankees?
Ooh.
One of the things we kind of talk about, but we don't necessarily say it directly, is the star of this season is the defense. We talk about that, but in so much in the fact that it's allowed the offense to really find its footing, gain steam, and become what they have become. And really they're hitting their stride now. And that's what has made us so much better. And that really came, starting after the NDSU games when we really started to show up. Definitely versus UIW, the offense looked like it was clicking, but it was inconsistent, I guess, is the thing there. So, offense has found their consistency. We've found some guys in the right spots that have continued to perform, and maybe that's because they've grown since camp. Like Lofton Ogrodsky. I always want to say Landon, and I know it's not that. Like Lofton Ogrodsky. I mean, dude's a beast. Like, I love it. And some of that's the other guy getting hurt, but definitely produces on the field. And he blocks kind of like a Yankee. And there's something to be said for that. That's needed. And what about Griffin Wilde? Did you happen to notice the play where it was that screen play with only the one other receiver blocking and he just completely faked out his guy? I mean, that's what you have to do on that play for it to be effective. And we've maybe struggled at that a little bit this year. And here he was just knocking it down. Yep.
I would, that's a great question on the, is Mark's season this year, last year better? It's much more interesting this year, watching the progression. And again, understanding that it isn't just Mark figuring things out. Like there's so many pieces to this. It's Coach Olson figuring stuff out and what he's got, and it's getting people in the right spots, and it's a couple of young receivers figuring things out, and it's a couple of tight ends that maybe were struggling a little bit early that are starting to get things dialed in. Like all of those pieces coming together, and it's really neat to see that. And again, it is all coming to fruition, I think, at the right time of the year. And yeah, Mark played a phenomenal game yesterday. And even if again, stats weren't probably all American stats, but god dang it, he did exactly what he needed to do, led the team, efficient, made great decisions. I don't know, he's having a hell of a year as far as I'm concerned.
Scott Russ says it's a good thing. Some credit needs to go to our offensive coordinator staff too.
100%.
They've really found a rhythm. It's not just one of them, there's two. And that's true, Scott, because we know that Mark really had a rhythm with Lujan. Like they had a thing. It was something that he could count on. He was really, really comfortable with Lujan. And then the change comes in. And I think some of it's, in talking to some people, we know that that's some of it, right? You just got to figure out how to deal with each other. I guess communicate is really what I'm trying to say there. And so I think we've seen that as a result of those guys figuring out what they need from each other and who's looking at what, how. Yep.
And statistically, it's not even close. Last year was a better year. Like we know that. but the weapons were better, and he had better chemistry with it. That doesn't mean that these young guys aren't going to eventually reach that Zach Hines and Yonke level. They're just not there yet. And so to me, that's what's been impressive, is like that leadership from Mark, that patience from Mark. I mean, I can't think of a time this season, even in those early game struggles, where Mark lost his cool on the sidelines or on the field. I mean, how often do you see quarterbacks do that at any level, where they're frustrated because they're getting hit, or they're frustrated because guys are dropping the ball or running the wrong route? Hell, Chad and I are Packers fans. We watched Aaron Rodgers, for years admonish like his young guys on the field.
Oh yeah.
And we do
they
see
weren't
it.
doing what they were supposed to, right?
Right. We see it at these different levels, and huge credit to Mark's leadership for never doing that this year. For
God's sake,
coaches them up.
First half of the season, he did. There's the train. He didn't regress. He was leading and helping the other team, the rest of the team along, and bringing them up to where he was at. As we replace people, and that's what we saw happen in real time. And again, I think we're about there. I want to call out once again. I think I probably talked about it the last 3 or 4 times I've been on, that the blocking by the receivers and the tight ends, my goodness, has that gotten better. Yep. You can see it. And you even, again, I'll go back to the radio broadcast, because the first half I was listening to the radio. You can hear Tyler and company talk about them over and over and over, getting upfield, getting to the second level, allowing Amar, allowing Angel, to get another 3, 4, 5 yards, because those receivers and tight ends are doing what they need to do and getting into people up the field.
Yep. Dallas, I totally thought you were going in another direction with that. And going to talk about your guy on the chain gang, because he was disruptive again. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I'm going to now?
Yeah, go.
All right, so I'm going to blow up players of the game. I'm taking my guy. I tell you what, for those of you that don't know, he's what is he? I'm sorry, this has been.
He's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, redshirt freshman.
If we're talking about the same guy, it's the guy you've been hyping up all year.
I think so. I think we're talking about him. But no, we've got a kid on the team that.
Do you need time to look up the stats? Because I can talk about that.
I'm trying to pull up. Because I wasn't going to talk about him until we got to the end. But Matt had to ruin it here.
Sorry, pull him up, because I can address Brian's comment. Brian, the reason why I'm in my living room is because my office, the internet hates StreamYard in there. So, or else I would be in that cozier place. So I am planning on building a better podcast studio during the off season. So
there we go.
But my couch is also really comfortable, so I like to be on it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about what Brooks Nome says here. He says he's surprised they went exclusively with the young quarterback, meaning Ayat. Clearly they want to develop him. I think the fact that Fife announced today that he was leaving the program also factored into it. We can't think that it's not. I mean,
was that what chicken or the egg? Which one happened first?
Right, exactly.
It's just a shame. It's a shame. You could have really developed Ayat under 5. You could have gotten him some coaching, some knowledge, things like that, because Ayat's still young. And instead, you basically squandered a very talented quarterback. You got so I'm just mind boggled by that.
Mm-hmm.
And he could be an Incarnate Word next year. You never know.
I like that. I saw that. That was funny.
It was amazing to me how many of the Montana Grizzly fans complained in person about their coach not knowing football because he didn't play the right quarterback.
I mean, he's the Farley of the Big Sky. Let's just be honest. It's time for him to go too. So,
yeah.
Only he looks less like Skeletor, more like Butthead. Did you guys all know I was going to say that before I got it out? Because you were all laughing earlier.
No, right. I was laughing at the Skeletor reference. So thank you for letting me pull it up, because I'd forgotten that Bryce Hawthorne, it was 2.5 TFLs, 1.5 sacks. Mm-hmm. And I've been talking about Bryce since we got to see him flash a couple times last year as a freshman in garage time towards the end of a couple of games. And Bryce has this balance of size and speed and explosiveness that is not common at any level. And if I said it last year, if he stays humble and keeps at it, we are going to be looking at a national attention, All-American type player. Bryce Hawthorne, he's a good player now, but man, he can be so good. God, he's fun to watch. And again, even those plays, we talk about it, defensive line, it's not all about the stats. Well, ridiculous stats, 2.5 TFLs, 1.5 sacks, but still disruptive, causing all kinds of problems on plays when he's not hitting the stat sheet. That was my pick player of the game, because I also thought, Chain Gang in general played very well, and you can make a case for a couple other guys, but I'm going with Bryce.
Yeah, the Chain Gang, with it, Jimmy said this, right? They just got to finish at the quarterback. And with someone like Ayat, who's really athletic, that's probably a little easier said than done. But some of those big runs or extending plays, getting the third down conversions, the longer ones, that's just because the D-line just missed the tackle. But that's all right, or just took a bad angle. We'll figure it out. It's a good learning moment, right? It's good to win and learn, at the same time.
Some of that, I had a few thoughts on, we allowed the quarterback to get on and scramble a couple of times, and that's all they had for a run game. And I guess I don't know the stats. Maybe I'm just talking.
You're right. You're right.
Okay,
there's a couple big runs by Ayat.
That's how it felt. But when you get a play that develops like that, it's not as simple as just saying stay in your lanes and don't let him scramble. Those were plays that were long developing plays, and unless you are telling your defensive ends to go 3.5 to 4 yards upfield and post up like a basketball player, there's going to be a rush lane. That's just how this works. So it's not as simple as just saying, like, get him, because we were rushing 4-on-5 almost every one of those plays that did that. And it again, when you've got, I think on most of those, if you go back and watch, at that point, all your receivers are at 8+ yards. So there's a ridiculous amount of real estate that's just open when that happens. So again, like you hope that somebody breaks free, makes the quarterback make a bad decision early, but there's more to it again than just like don't let him get outside. Like it's way easier said than done.
Yeah. All right,
can I circle back to Hawthorne just a little bit?
Yeah,
I got to spend some time with his dad yesterday again, and what a great human being.
Seems like a cool
I'm glad we have those quality of individuals, and I know the guy's got an NFL pedigree, playing for the Dolphins and stuff. But his kid's going to be right there, I think. And it's fun. It's fun when your dad and your mom are such awesome people to cheer for a guy like that and have him have success. So happy for that family.
Hell yeah. Football family. Shout out to his big brother that just finished up at Winona. I think he was a captain. Don't quote me on that, but
I believe so.
Obviously a leader, phenomenal defensive player. He had some academic awards and stuff. So it was real cool.
Yep. Also, speaking of families, shout out to Preston McGoy. I know you're listening, and we don't care what Dayton says. Comment your heart out, Preston. So don't let Dayton stop you.
Love seeing you, and thank you for buying me a beer, Sarah. Sure appreciated having a chance to enjoy a cold one with you at the stadium when it's cold outside, and we can just chop it up.
Yeah.
I've always said if any of my kids call me embarrassing, I'm assuming is that his dad?
Yes.
I just always assume, but I never ask. So if any of my kids call me embarrassing, I immediately jump to, I will show you embarrassing. If you think I'm embarrassing, let's go. Chime in, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Seth Meyer talks about how Ayat was running, and the only reason that happened is because Gilman was making Bach follow him downfield. Well, right. Bach was like money on the coverage on that one, somewhat unfortunately, right? Like he had his guy and he was doing his 111th, but that's all you could ask. So there's Preston.
All right. Excellent. Good.
And and Dayton look nothing alike.
Yeah.
I hadn't really looked at Dayton's picture. Matt and I were talking before the show, and he's top of the roster being 0, and I was like, oh my gosh, they look identical.
Awesome. So Friday night, I'm coming down. I'm staying over in Brookings Friday night, so I can be at tailgate in Brighton early with you, Chad. Miles is coming, and we are actually going to go eat at Cubby's. Miles has never ate at Cubby's before, so super stoked about that. So yeah, I know. But Cubby's has brought back the J Italian nachos.
Italian.
J.
I did. No.
Yeah, Italian nachos.
I did a poll on Twitter, and everybody went J.I. Italian. That's the way the poll went. So I'm calling them J.I.
See, I'm the podfather. I'm going to call them J.I. Italian nachos.
Rank.
I just pulled that card.
So you said just remember who cuts your checks.
Wow.
Yeah, right. And I am not a nacho fan, but I am going to get nachos because I want Chad and Brendan and Alex to pay their $2 into this. So make sure, and Ben. So yeah, I'm going to do that.
And Corey and Chris Schenkel.
Yeah, all these folks. So good people. But no, I'm excited to be down there. Excited to check out Cubbies. It's been a while since I ate there, actually. So yeah, really excited that. Really excited to take Miles for his first venture into Cubbies, and I'm not going to tell him any of the great stories from college. That'll happen someday. So
are you going to show him our flag?
Yeah, take a picture by the flag. So
that'll be awesome.
Cool. Thank you, Cubbies, for your support and sponsorship. Really appreciate it. All right, game balls. So if you read Rants and Raves, I went with our tackles, our offensive tackles. I was going to go the whole 605 Hogs, Chad, but I know you'd get mad about that. So I just went with our two offensive tackles, Sam Hagan and Quentin Christensen. Phenomenal job on those defensive ends for Montana, picking up a lot of those outside blitzes, keeping Mark clean. Good job.
I don't know. I can't say nothing about that. That's close to a position group, you know.
Yeah, I know.
What if it's the safeties? There's only two of them.
Yeah, right.
But anytime you've got 200-yard rushers, you know, that's clearly the sign something good's happening.
Yeah. Dallas, what'd you come up with? Anyone?
I was going to lean towards Wildy, but again, Mark did not have flashy numbers, but man, I thought he played well, and I appreciate what he did. But yeah, give me Wildy.
Chad?
Me? Oh man. I like what was said above about a Dupree setting the tone. I kind of felt that way too. Even though he maybe didn't have the flashy stats, I thought he was really getting after it. And I'm going to give him my game ball for
sure.
That, so.
Defensively, I went with Bach just because if you get a pick six, you get the game ball, you know, unless there's more than one. So that's where I went with it. And Dallas, you were going with Bryce?
I'm going with Bryce. Hold on.
I should pick an offensive one since I was just thinking overall. Yeah, I mean, Angel looked really good. Just following the blocks, not turning on the afterburner till he needs it. And he's going to get better, and he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, the patience displayed. Hold on. Looking at comments here. Chad, I'm going to put this up. I am going to, sorry, GFW. I'm taking it back. I'm going to go with Mark because it's Ryan Gronowski's birthday. I saw that on Twitter. Happy birthday, Ryan. I'm going with your brother.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
Happy birthday, Ryan. You'll have to let us know how old you are today.
Yeah.
How many?
Love the Cotton Eye Joe videos. Love it.
Love them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that when I talked to him yesterday. Or I'd have wished you happy birthday in advance.
Yep.
Although in Germany, that's considered bad luck. So.
Oh, okay. Chad.
Fun fact for you there.
Garrett Meyer comments, Dallas Beanham made some great one-on-one plays. It was fun to see him get involved because we just don't ever get to see him because no one throws the ball to his side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
So how little have we talked about Dallas Beanham this year, right?
Right.
I mean, almost none since the beginning of the year, and that sucks, but clearly that means he's doing a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how many passes he has actually been the primary target.
I think I heard
the primary defender.
I thought I heard 3. I mean,
wow.
It's none, basically.
It's bonkers.
I don't know. I don't remember I heard that. I probably made that up, but it was super minimal.
That's funny.
I probably made that up.
Yeah.
That's what we do here, isn't it?
Yeah. On special teams, I know we don't normally do special teams. We didn't talk about him at all. Colton Tilford on kick coverage was insane. So Colton, 26, flying down the field, one of the smaller guys on the roster, just like Tucker Large. Just an animal. So backup safety, having a huge year. So, yeah. Chad, do you want to talk about Northwestern Mutual, Alex's lemonade stand?
Sure. I will talk about Northwestern Mutual. Let me pull up the ad here, the banner for them. Northwestern Mutual is your one-stop shop for all things financial services. They can get you life insurance, and they can get you set up for a retirement that will have you not worrying about it in the future. Stop down and see Northwestern Mutual. Our friends who are helping sponsor the FCS Nation radios, Alex's Lemonade Stand Challenge amongst the players. I have not pulled that up, but I will here shortly. Yesterday, the pudding shots raised $370. So thank you, everybody that chipped in. That's quite a lot of money on a playoff game when we have less people in the tailgating lots. So we did really well, I thought. We're approaching $4,500 there for total for pudding, right? Wow is right, for pudding shots alone. So I think that's noteworthy. I don't know where that comes in versus any other single funding source other than corporate stuff. But that's pretty cool that we're able to raise quite a bit of money there. It's only like a quarter of Mark's total though, because Mark's just been killing it. You guys doing Jim Poppin doing all the lemon top challenges. And so, yeah, Northwestern Mutual has been great partners and can't say enough good things about them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Chad. Thank you, Northwestern Mutual, and Chris Schenkel, your office down in Sioux Falls. All right, Rev, what do we need to know? What's going on with Incarnate Word?
Well, it's really fun to see a rematch, honestly, because I think both teams are playing better than they did when y'all played earlier this year, if I'm being 100% honest. You guys are getting hot at the right time. Your offense it seems like it's clicking a little more. Your defense has definitely been on top of it. And I think that's a scary thing for Incarnate Word, because you will be the toughest defense they played this year outside of SFA, who statistically was one of the best defenses in the FCS. But it starts at the top with Calzada. He's 3,500 passing yards this year. He's got a 4-to-1 touchdown to pick ratio. I think it's 35 touchdowns, 8 picks, something like that. So he has turned the ball over a little bit. But the difference is from the Incarnate Words you've seen in the past is they still throw the ball. They've got 2,000-yard receivers in Waltham and Roy Alexander, but they've got a 900-yard running back in Kylon Taylor. Like they've changed their offense up some to where it's not as pass heavy as it used to be whenever Kenny was coaching. It's more of a spread type offense. But again, it's going to be really interesting to me to see what Calzada does against a very, very tough defense. Yeah. It's not the first time we've seen the defense, but what you guys were, week 4, week 3 versus now, it's almost a completely different defense. Yeah. So yeah.
Hey, what's the deal with Taylor, Declan or DeCallan, whatever his name is? He didn't play against Villanova. I noticed that. So
I don't know if he was hurt. I hadn't seen anything. I should have asked Andrew Markham about it. They didn't. We all knew Villanova wasn't going to win that game anyway, so they really probably didn't need him. But I think he was nursing a little bit of an injury, but I'm not 100% sure. I should have asked Markham.
It's been really interesting to see, how Roy Alexander and Jalen Waddle, like, yeah, the season that they've had, like you mentioned, 76 receptions, 1,224 yards, 14 touchdowns. Alexander, we saw him last year when he came with Albany and played in that game. On the season, 87 receptions, 1,016 yards, 12 touchdowns, just insane numbers. So I don't know. I'm very interested in those two. And then as soon as you focus on those two, they still have Josh Lorick to throw to, who has 44 receptions of his own. So just crazy amount of talent on this offense.
Oh, 100% agree. And then even after Taylor, they got Carter back there, running back. They also use Turner, who's one of the wide receivers. They use him as a back also. So they have a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
The thing, and Kevin will say this, is they haven't played anybody. Hey, you know what, Kevin?
They won. On cue.
They won, right? They won. I know maybe some of the SoCon teams had some Nova players that'd do better, but I digress. Anyway, no, but to be honest, granted, Kevin will say this, Southland is a weaker conference and compared to the MVFC Big Sky, obviously it is. But, Incarnate Word scheduled up some this year. I mean, they played y'all. They played SIE, which at the time, whenever they made the schedule, seemed like a very tough game. They didn't want to miss the playoffs again, like they did last year when they played, one of the softest out of conference schedules I've ever seen. So they're doing things the right way. Killo's a good coach. I don't know how long he'll be there. I think he'll get poached pretty quick, honestly.
He's a player though, right? A former player there. Absolutely loves it.
But money talks.
Money talks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you want to retire early. There you go.
And in a worse stadium than most high schools in Texas.
Dude, did you see how many people were in the background of the photos? Their away side had 5 people on it at best.
So that stadium, they had, I think, 1,900, which I imagine 1,800 of them were friends and family. But that stadium is so quiet, you can hear the calls on the field when you're sitting in the stands. It's the worst atmosphere I've ever been to for a game, and it's a shame. But
it's a fun product. It's a fun team.
Hell yeah, it is.
That's the thing. But with their location, it's brutal because you've got UTSA, who doesn't completely terribly suck with football anymore. But then right up the road, you got Texas State. Right up the road from there, you got UT. So you've got 3 FBS schools within an hour of that campus. And then across the street, you have Trinity, who's D3, but Trinity doesn't suck at football either, right? And so the biggest problem they have is, I think, marketing the city. When you see the photos of the stadium and that crowd actually looks full, it's because it's Military Appreciation Day. San Antonio is the military city. They give out free tickets to bring them in. They need to keep doing more like that. Their problem isn't the product, it's the marketing. And so hopefully they'll solve for that.
So it's not like UT had anything going yesterday, right? Nobody's going to go to that game over.
They weren't back. It was,
And the thing that I've kind of been paying attention to this year, right, is Brendan started it, always making the joke about the Southland Conference. There's no D, you got to drop the D on it.
Yep.
Their defense does look improved this year over past versions. I think we saw that in Brookings for 3 quarters, and then we wore them down in that 4th.
Yeah.
But no, talk about that a little bit. Mason Chambers, Dune Smith.
Mason Chambers is a stud. Mr. Williams is my favorite football player name. It's like without a doubt, I love it. But Mason Chambers does it all. He's everywhere. Tackles, picks, pass breakups. He should be looked at for Sunday games. I think he would do very well. But yeah, their defense is tightened up, and that has been the biggest joke with the Southland. But unfortunately, when you have a very or a conference that's very offense heavy, you have to evolve and learn how to play defense. And the thing the Southland wants to do is they don't want to be viewed as a weak conference. It's something that's coming from the top down from Chris Grant. And so you're starting to see some of the schools try to solve for that problem, try to get better talent, better scheduling, and so I don't think it's still porous. It's not as porous as it was when it comes to defenses. But I think you guys are, I think they're going to be, I don't want to say overwhelmed because that's not the right word, but they're going to be pretty close to that, I think, whenever it comes to be Saturday, just because you guys playing South Dakota State, playing MVFC, it's a step up above, above what they're playing in the Southland. It's going to be more intense. It's going to be, like I said, I watched SFA almost beat them with a backup quarterback.
Sure. Because
SFA's defense kept SFA in the game, and Rush Calzada caused him to make mistakes. That he threw 3 picks that game. He's thrown 8 picks all year. SFA got 3 of them. So when he faces a tough defense like that, he does get happy feet. And so I think that's just going to be a problem for them whenever they come to see y'all this weekend.
Yeah,
they tend to be a little bit more of a passing offense too, right?
They run more. They do.
They have ran more this year, right?
Jet sweeps, little things like that. But yeah, they're running more, but they're still pass heavy.
I was going to bring that back to Scott Rust's question, wondering how they might handle the cold. Sorry to jump on you there, Dallas, but they played us early. They played well against us, I'd say, overall.
It was hot that night. Yeah.
But it was hot, right? And something they're accustomed to. And they're going to come up here, and I wonder how much that's going to be a factor. We'll know if we see the shirts off pictures that it's over. Other than that,
if we see them, if they're wearing full face mask and have their shirts off in pregame, it's over in the first quarter. It's not going to be close.
Yeah.
Going back, I mean, that game, what was it, 45-24 or something? But, it was not, for the longest time in that game, it didn't look like it was going to be a blowout. And South Dakota State
put away.
Yeah, South Dakota State started really slowly. I think we dropped a touchdown pass. We missed a field goal. Like it was clunky for the first quarter. And that can't happen here in the playoffs at this point in the season. And now talking about, I don't think there's any chance in hell they're going to think they come in here and run the ball because they didn't try it before. And they know that no one's been able to do it all year. So they ain't going to do that. But like we talked about after that game, they have these short little, they get wide and then they get players east and west and create separation that way. And they find little windows. And the key to this game to me is going to be they're going to get a ton of 3 to 5 yard plays, but they can only be 3 to 5 yard plays. Yeah. Because I think we had some missed tackles in that last game, and they're going to get their athletes in space going sideways back and forth, and they're going to find windows. That will happen. And you're not going to, you're going to need to get your hands up, try to close the windows down. You're not going to get a bunch of sacks because the ball's going to be out. But again, it's going to be just about cleaning up and making those tackles. Francel's got to have a great game. Bach's got to have a great game, and those guys got to keep people corralled.
And to Poppin's point, he says cold for San Antonio. It's going to be 34, I think, Saturday and sunny. Like that's not
maybe colder than that.
I mean,
kickoff's going to be
probably mid-20s. I mean, that's not unheard of in Texas. It's not like they're going up there and playing you guys on a sheet of ice and it's 5 degrees. You know, I don't think the cold's going to be as big of a factor as some might hope. But yeah, and then to Dallas's point, that's exactly what they do. They're going to basically run bubble screens and quick outs and things like that to basically make that their running attack. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to nickel their way down the field. Just little cuts. And that's what they have to do. The longer they keep Calzada out on the field, the better a chance they have to win. They have to keep y'all's offense off the field. They have to work your defense. And I know that sounds weird because I think South Dakota State's defense better than the offense. No offense. Offense. Your offense is good enough. Your offense is good enough to win the games, but your defense is putting them there. And so that's going to be the biggest challenge for Incarnate Word because they have to keep Gronowski off the field.
Yep. I wonder how we approach that because didn't they score on a bubble screen in the first matchup? And it was kind of shocking. Like we haven't seen that in a long time because Dyshawn was so good at blowing those up.
Yes,
and before him, Don Gardner, and before him, Jordan Brown. Like we've had this run of cornerbacks, and so I know that that's not necessarily like Dallas Beanham's game to be up there and be super physical like that. So I wonder if that's we're going to see Kobe Humphrey right there, or Stephen Arell, or even Tucker Large, get him out there, just to let him use his instincts. So I'm really interested to see how we approach kind of that screen game that you're talking about, Rev. So. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in Incarnate Words, granted, they went up to North Dakota State, 2 years ago? Almost pulled that game out had they not made some questionable coaching decisions. Like, I know Kevin hates them, but they're not as bad as I think he's being a little hyperbolic on how bad they are. I'm sure on his show, he'll say that, South Dakota State will win by 21 and, they might, but I think it's gonna be something similar to the game you saw in September. Maybe you guys pull away a little bit earlier, but I think they're going to hang in for a bit. I don't, the one thing Killer's really good at, he's good at adjusting. We've seen it with some of his games. And so I think it'll be fun to watch. But I don't think it's going to be as dominating of a game, as we've seen for South Dakota State against other foes this year. Now watch I say that and you guys win by like 40 or something.
Well, you play a team twice in 1 year, and the entire game, or at least the first half, it's all about self-scouting.
Yeah.
You have to get in the mindset of the other team and understand what they're going to do and make a correction to what that you think that they are going to exploit. And so it's all going to, a lot of it, again, the first quarter for sure, we're going to see which coaching staff wins.
Yeah. And it's really hard to beat a team twice in a year. And we all know that for multitudes of reasons, because if a coach can adjust, a coach can look at what happened the first time and you take the lessons from it. But again, I still think there is a gulf, a bit of a gulf of talent between where Incarnate Word is and then where South Dakota State is.
No, and Seth Meyer brings up a good point. Tucker Large missed a good portion of that game. He was very banged up after the Oklahoma State game. Tried to tough it out for a couple of weeks, and then he missed 3-4 games in a row.
Yeah,
kind of healing up all these different things. So just having him in this game, huge difference maker in my opinion. Yeah, so I like that, having him on the field for sure.
Did you put up Brian Williams' comment about the D-line being
better?
Yeah.
Yep, right there.
So that's interesting. But I if I remember right, we gave up some pressure this year, at least early on. That was, and again, we had a very new, fresh offensive line that hadn't all played together much. So maybe it was just a product of that, But I do think I didn't go again. Played fantastic. Probably the best. Maybe outside of the Bobcats, I would say definitely the best offensive line in the country. Yeah. So, anyway, go ahead, Chad.
No, sorry. I think my slow internet causes me to run on top of you guys a little bit more. I was thinking about that. But Matt came over at half, and one of the things that I pointed out to him or asked him about, I guess, is like, did you see how much time Mark had on that one throw in the south end zone? It was ridiculous. He had a good 30 seconds, no one near him, and you could see him go through his progressions at least twice, I think.
Yep.
Just for the right guy to get open, not just kind of open. It was a thing of beauty to see the 605 Hogs give him that much time.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see that more, on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. No, I like this matchup for us overall. I think it's going to be kind of an interesting game. Did we see the Tucker return a punt?
I don't think he's going to return punts.
I don't think so. Yeah, just again with his banged up, he's still pretty banged up. So guessing there's going to be some off-season surgery and stuff in his future, likely. So the punt, looking at the stats before this, Incarnate Word has switched punters, it looks like. Lonegren's no longer their punter. But they're both averaging less than 40 yards a punt. So the opportunities to return a punt are going to be few and far in between, just with the distance not being there. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah. What else? I don't know. I'm excited for this game. This should be fun.
Is there just we're getting close to time here? Is there any chance that anybody is overlooking this game or thinking ahead to a potential return trip to Fargo the following week? Is that a concern?
Gee, I sure hope not.
I wouldn't think so.
I think that Incarnate Word is enough of a brand now, and everyone remembers how they almost beat NDSU in Fargo a couple of years ago, right? Everyone knows that. I think the team should remember how much of a dogfight it was in that second week of the season. Even if we didn't play our best, they were still growing and learning too. So, no shot, Brian.
Thank you, Brian, for putting me in my place. You know what? Sometimes we just serve up questions here to get a response, and that's what I'm doing.
Yep. So that's where I agree with Brian.
So do I. I just thought I'd ask the question.
All right. Hey, Dallas, what's going on with JFPA?
JFPA, you asked what's going on. I don't know of anything new, but what we do want to talk about is, again, another reminder, former players that are out there, make sure that you are involved. Please join. We're modeling this after a handful of other programs in the country. Does amazing things for the football team. All the money goes directly to the guys, provided some meals, helmets, all sorts of cool stuff. And we need to, keep everybody together and help grow this, because nobody's going to care more than us. Nobody's going to have more of an impact than former players. So, even if you're new, if you've got buddies that, that haven't joined, even if you didn't play all 4 or 5 years, get involved with the JFPA, reach out, talk to Ryan McKnight, get involved. The initial investment is very small, but again, just having that sense of brotherhood and helping out is absolutely worth it. Please do it.
And if fans want to help out that cause a little bit too, they have their gear store, and they have some really unique and cool gear too. So you could go ahead and check that out.
Yep. And Ryan said they're at 405 members currently. Nice. Last year they finished at 527. So if you have not got your membership in yet, get it in. So, all right. Predictions. Dustin, you are our guest picker this week. You know enough about our roster. You're fine. So Dallas, we'll start with you. Offensive player of the week.
Offensive player of the week. I was not prepared for this at all. I came in hot. No, we're just going to go with it. I'm going to keep talking until somebody comes to mind and it makes sense because I'm trying to remember specifics on their defense last time. Well, we're just going to run the piss out of the ball again. Give me Angel Johnson, please.
All right.
For a buck 25 and 2.
Okay. Chad.
Well, I think this is one of the early games that Mark really shined in the last time. So it's his brother's birthday. There's no way I can deny that Mark is the heart and soul of this team. And Mark's going to have a day. It'll be as he says, great day to have a day.
Great day to have a day.
There we go. Oh, man. I am going to go with I kind of want to go with GF Dub, but that feels too easy right now. I'm going to go with Stoffel. Stoffel's going to catch 2 touchdowns this week. So
please.
Yep.
That legit
just
was
put
what I
his
was going to
hand
pick.
down.
I was going to pick.
Pick him. You can pick him if you want.
That's the thing because they're gonna look at GFW, right? They're gonna put all their focus on it, so it's gonna open it up to your tight ends, and that's why I was like it's gonna be Stoffel. So that's who I think is gonna have a
nice.
game. Give him a couple touchdowns. Yep,
he's capable. We're all just sitting here waiting for it to happen.
And we know that Dune Smith is a terrific player running downhill. He's going to be keyed up on stopping Amar and Angel, in my opinion. And so that's why I think there's going to be some opportunities for Stoffel there. So, yeah. Kevin Brenner passing team.
Ryan Williams, Kevin Brenner passing touchdown. Hold on.
Oh, my gosh.
Listening to the game, Tyler just tore that pass apart on the ball. It was so funny. I think he said it died of exhaustion in the air or something like that.
It seemed like a kid's first attempt at asking a girl out. He was so nervous throwing the ball.
Oh gosh.
Man, it's a completion on the stat sheet.
Yeah. All right, Rev, do you want to go first or last picking defense?
I can tell you who I'm going for.
All right, who are you going with on defense?
Well, so in Texas, we're known for beer, and we've got one great beer known as Shinerbach. And because you're playing a team that is about an hour and a half from that brewery, we're going to take Mr. Adam Bach.
Hey, there we go. All right, I'm going with Dallas Beanham. Yep, they're going to throw the ball. He's going to have a chance at some interceptions. Chad.
A guy that's really had not as much time on the field as we would all probably like due to some injuries and stuff. Really been balling out. I'm going to call out Dayton because Dayton's been playing his butt off. Dayton McGoy at linebacker. Excuse me, coughing here.
Yep. All right, Dallas.
Give me Francel again.
Francel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Seth, you just put it up. Seth Myers says going to put on an open field tackling clinic. And I also want to go back. I just got called out for not being prepared. Hold on. We're Adam Harms.
Do we think this is a show where we're prepared?
No,
because Matt is. Doesn't mean the rest of us
Adam,
are.
listen. No, I'm talking directly to Adam right now. I put thought into this. I want to look at stats. I want to see what happened last time. I want to be intelligent and I want to be a leader. And I was not prepared to do that. I could just be lazy and go Adam Buck or whatever. But no, I'm trying to put thought into this. Come on, man.
Wow. Or you could just take the chain gang. That's being lazy.
I don't. Yeah. Brian says no D line. No, I get it, dude. I think
there's so much quality play. It's hard to make.
It is, but I also. I mean, this is not again assuming what they are going to do on offense. This is not a game where the D line is going to hit the stat sheet a bunch. Probably. Yeah. I hope they do, and I hope they eat, and I hope they light that quarterback up and have a bunch of TFLs. But again, they're not going to run the damn ball, and the ball's going to be out quick. I don't know what else Incarnate Word's going to try to do.
Yep. All right, Dallas, score prediction.
Let's go. What did we say last time? 45-21. They're going to move the ball, but we are not giving up 21 points. Give me 38-19. No, 16. 38-16, sorry.
All right. Chad.
Well, unlike Bobby Houck, I don't think their coach will have money on this one. And isn't going to try and get a 2-point and kick a onside field goal with 4 seconds left. How disrespectful is that guy? What a class act. Anyway,
did he have all seniors out on the field? That's the only thing. If there was all seniors on the field, it'd be like, fine, do it. But.
Yeah, maybe, but 4 seconds left. Take your L and get the heck out of Brookings. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that we pretty much repeat our performance, in a sense, in that I think we're going to pull off the Dogs a little early if we can. So we might get to 42. We might not. I'm going to pick 42. I could see 38 too. I think the defense has something to prove after getting that garage time garbage pulled this last game, and I think they probably score 1 touchdown and a couple of field goals.
42-13. All right.
Yep.
Rev, what are you thinking?
This is one of those weird rounds, right, where either games are usually blowouts or they're just absolutely tight, and there's not an in-between. And, and there's some games that you think are going to be blowouts, and then they become sneakily tight. I don't think that's the case with this one, because I think what will happen is you're just going to, wear them out as you get into the second half. Give me 35-17 Jacks.
All right, 35-17. Yeah, I'm going to go with a little lower scoring, 30-13. 30-13. That's where I'm at. So, all right, cool. It's good. I like that, though. We're all about in the same ballpark. So,
Dallas, are you muted?
Yeah.
Dallas is muted.
Dallas muted.
Ooh, 38-24.
Didn't realize that I did that. No, I was just saying, I feel like we're going to see him move the ball between the 20s a little bit, but hopefully I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yep. They're a quality opponent. There's no doubt about that. They will get some yards.
Yeah, I don't care what Kevin says. So,
yeah, I'd like to see how El Cid would fare against them this year. That'd be a fun game to watch.
He doesn't like Incarnate Word because their full name is the University of the Incarnate Word, thus having more articles in their name than the Citadel does. And so that's really his beef.
And with that, great show, fellas. Can't get any better than that mic drop.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kev.
We didn't even get into the other shows, but tune into the B Team this week. Tune into Scared Money Don't Make Money. They're going to cover all the rest of the shows. Thank you again to our sponsors. Thanks to everyone that tunes in every week, listens, shares, comes up and introduces yourselves at tailgating, whatever it may be.
That's so fun when that happens.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So, Rev, thank you very much for always. Loved having you here. So,
yeah, thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Yeah, Dallas, what's up?
Oh no, I was going to say you brought up the other shows, but we don't talk about the other work that you put out. What's our normal schedule for blog content during the week?
So this week, we're just basically down to opponent preview now.
Okay.
We can do the what to watch. It just felt like it was starting to get repetitive, so yeah, we stopped on that one. And then Alex is done with his numbers stuff. So give a like, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Kendall. All right, thanks everyone. Thanks, Kevin. With that, go big, go blue, go
Jags. You're gonna get fined for